The silence in our living room was soft and warm, the kind that only new parents know. It was made of the low hum of the baby monitor and the sweet, cloying scent of powder and milk. My husband, Rohan, was on the floor with our 8-month-old daughter, Lily, building a wobbly tower of brightly colored blocks. The late afternoon sun streamed through the window, catching the dust motes dancing in the air and casting a halo around them. It was a perfect domestic scene, the kind I had dreamed of my entire life. "Who's a clever girl?" Rohan cooed, his voice a low rumble. "Can you say dada? Dada!" Lily just giggled, a delightful, bubbly sound that made my heart ache with love. She reached out a chubby hand and knocked the tower over. I smiled from the armchair, a book lying forgotten in my lap. We were waiting for that milestone, that first precious word. We'd been coaching her for weeks. "Mama," I'd whisper, tracing the shape of her cheek. "Dada," Rohan would chant, bouncing her on his knee. Lily looked straight at him, her blue eyes wide and serious. Her little mouth formed a shape. A sound came out, not a gurgle, but something more deliberate. "Za?" she started. My breath caught in my throat. Rohan leaned in closer, his smile widening. "That's it, sweetie. You can do it," he encouraged. And then, clear as a bell, she said it. "Zara." The word hung in the sun-drenched air between us, sharp and alien. It wasn't Mama. It wasn't Dada. It was a name I had never heard before. I looked at Rohan, expecting to see the same confusion on his face. Instead, I saw a flicker of something else. A split second of pure, undiluted panic before a mask of casual indifference slammed down. "Zara, what's that?" He chuckled, but it was a brittle sound, like glass cracking. "She's just making sounds, Maya. You're overthinking it." But I wasn't. I knew what I'd heard, and in that moment, watching the color drain from my husband's face, a cold dread began to seep into the warm, happy silence of our home. That single two-syllable word was a key turning in a lock I never knew existed, and I had a terrible feeling that behind that door was a life I was not a part of. In the days that followed, the name Zara echoed in my mind. Rohan was a master of deflection. Whenever I tried to bring it up, he would laugh it off, call me a tired, paranoid new mother, or create a diversion, suggesting we go out for dinner or watch a movie. He was overly attentive, bringing me flowers, offering to handle the night feeds. He was trying to build a wall of normalcy around that one jarring moment, hoping I would forget. But I couldn't. His performance was too perfect, his denial too quick. The paranoia he accused me of began to feel like intuition. I started to notice the small things, the way he angled his phone away from me, the late-night conference calls that seemed to happen more frequently, the scent of a perfume on his suit jacket one evening that wasn't mine. A faint, floral scent that made my stomach clench. The opportunity came on a Tuesday night. He was in the shower, the sound of water drumming against the glass. His phone, which was usually glued to his hand, was on the nightstand, charging. My heart hammered against my ribs. I had never violated his privacy before. Our trust had been absolute. But that trust had been fractured by a single word from our baby's mouth. My hands were trembling as I picked it up. His passcode was our anniversary. The irony was bitter. I went straight to his messages. And there it was, a contact simply named Z. The profile picture was a woman with long, dark hair smiling at the camera. My blood ran cold. I scrolled through weeks of messages, pet names, inside jokes, plans for secret meetings disguised as work trips. "Can't wait to see you tonight," one message read, dated from the night he had a client dinner. "You're the only one who understands me, Zara.
Another said, Zara. There it was again. Not a random sound, a name. His other life. I felt a strange, chilling calm wash over me. The pain was immense, but it was a clarifying pain. I wasn't a paranoid wife. I was a wife who had been profoundly betrayed. I dug deeper, logging into our shared credit card account on my own phone. There were the receipts to match the lies. Dinners at romantic restaurants I'd never been to, a charge from a boutique hotel across town, and a recurring payment to an online jewelry store. The puzzle pieces didn't just fit, they snapped together with brutal, unforgiving precision. Lily hadn't just learned a name, she had been spending time with this woman. The thought made me physically sick. I put his phone back on the nightstand seconds before the shower turned off. When Rowan walked out, wrapped in a towel, I was sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall. He asked if I was okay. I just nodded, the words trapped in my throat. For the next 2 weeks, I lived a double life of my own. On the outside, I was the loving wife and mother. I smiled, I cooked his favorite meals, I played with Lily. But on the inside, I was an observer, a strategist, gathering my strength and my evidence. I called my older sister, Priya, and told her everything. She didn't offer empty platitudes. She listened, her silence a comforting presence over the phone. When I finished, her voice was firm. He doesn't deserve you, Maya, or Lily. The only question is, what are you going to do about it? Revenge felt cheap. Screaming matches felt pointless. I wanted something more. I wanted dignity. I wanted the truth to be revealed, not in a storm of my anger, but in the cold, quiet light of his own actions. The perfect opportunity presented itself. Rowan's parents were throwing a large family dinner to celebrate his recent promotion to senior partner at his firm. It was to be a grand affair at their home, with all our relatives present. His mother, who always saw him as a flawless golden boy, would be there, singing his praises. It was the perfect stage. A few days before the party, I was putting away laundry when I found a small, elegantly wrapped gift box tucked away in the back of his closet. It was from the same online jeweler from the credit card statements. My hands didn't even shake this time. I carefully opened it. Inside, nestled on a bed of black velvet, was a delicate silver bracelet with a single small charm, the letter Z. That evening, I casually mentioned it. I saw you bought your mother a gift for the party. That's so thoughtful. He barely looked up from his laptop. Oh, that. Yes, a little something to thank her for her support. The lie was so easy for him. I just smiled, a quiet, knowing smile that he was too self-absorbed to notice. I had my centerpiece, I had my stage, and I was ready for the final act. The night of the party was loud and suffocating. The air was thick with the scent of spices and expensive perfume. Laughter and conversation bounced off the high ceilings of my in-laws' home. Rohan was in his element, holding court, accepting congratulations, his arm wrapped possessively around my waist. I played my part, smiling demurely, a perfect accessory to the perfect son. After dinner, his mother stood up to make a toast. She spoke for 10 minutes, her voice brimming with pride, detailing Rohan's every achievement since childhood. He is a wonderful son, a brilliant mind, and, most importantly, a devoted husband and father, she finished, beaming at us. The room erupted in applause. Then, I stood up. A hush fell over the room. I was not one for public speeches. I raised my glass. I'd also like to toast my husband, I began, my voice clear and steady. Rohan is a man who believes in family. He believes in honesty. And he is a man of hidden depths. I saw a flicker of confusion in his eyes. I continued. In fact, he is so devoted to family that our daughter Lily has already learned the name of someone very special to him. It was her very first word. I paused, letting my words hang in the air. I looked directly at Rohan, whose smile had become a tight, frozen line. But before we get to that, I said, turning to my mother-in-law, I believe Rohan has a gift for you. That beautiful bracelet you bought her, honey. Why don't you give it to her now? She deserves to be celebrated. The entire room turned to look at him. He was trapped. His face went pale. He stammered, It's not the right time. Oh, but it is, I said, my voice soft but unyielding. I looked around at the sea of expectant faces. Unless, of course, the bracelet isn't for your mother. Perhaps it's for someone else. Someone whose initial is Z. Someone whose name our daughter knows better than my own. Someone named Zara. The silence that followed was deafening. The truth, once spoken, could not be taken back. His mother's face crumpled in confusion and horror. His father looked down at his plate in shame. Rohan stood there, exposed, his perfect world shattering around him. I didn't wait for the explosion. I didn't need to see the fallout. My part was done. I placed my house keys gently on the table. Thank you all for coming, I said, my voice betraying no emotion. Lily and I will be staying with my sister. I walked out of that house with my head held high, leaving the ruins of my marriage behind me. The life I built afterwards wasn't perfect, but it was honest. It was a quiet life, built on a foundation of self-respect, not secrets. And the first word Lily truly learned, the one she said every morning when I came to her crib, was mama. And it was the only word that ever mattered. Which city are you listening from tonight? Let me know in the comments. Disclaimer: names and details in this story have been altered for privacy and entertainment purposes.